The Minnesota Timberwolves now, they're playing great. I was kind of disappointed because the other night, I forgot who they lost to. They lost to some trash team.
Yeah.
They lost to some trash team.
It was
They
Orlando.
lost to the Magic. Yeah. They lost to the Magic. Then they beat the Heat. Minnesota's weird like this, right? But they are 39-30. They're the 7th seed. Before the season, you guys know I said they're going to be the 5th seed in the West. You guys laughed at me. But it's in the range. It's still close. It can happen still. And I just think if Minnesota, they match up with the right team, they can beat them in the first round. Right now, they'd be matching up with Golden State. I think they'll lose to Golden State.
What's the right matchup, though? That's what I want to get to.
They can beat Memphis.
What did I tell you on the ride here? I told you this on the ride here.
I
told you this on the ride here. I knew he was going to say that.
They can beat Memphis.
Let's get into it. Elaborate.
Well, for one, I think in that series,
you're sleeping on Grizzlies.
Ja Morant, look, he's a great player. He's a superstar player right now. I think he's playing at that level. I don't think Karl Anthony Towns is that far off, but I think Josh has gotten so much hype. I think Karl Anthony Towns, what he's done on a nightly basis, has gotten slept on. It's gotten swept under the rug. He's been better defensively. He's one of the best shooting big men in the NBA. I don't trust any of their bigs on Cat. I like Jaren Jackson a lot, and I like Steven Adams a lot, but I think Cat will win that matchup. In this series, the X factor to me, though, is two guys. One is Malik Beasley. He's finally been playing better. He's averaging 14.5 points in the last 10 games, shooting 47% from three. He's finally finding a shot. And Anthony Edwards. I think in the first round, we can potentially see Anthony Edwards just take off. Similarly to, back in like 2013 where Steph Curry versus Nuggets in the first round.
Of course,
he just took off. We're like, he's here. I think Edwards hasn't reached that all-star. Like, he's an all-star level player, even though he didn't make the team. But
I know what you're saying.
He didn't take that leap yet. I think the playoffs are when he's going to take that leap and he's going to show everybody, like, no, he's here. And you add that with Cat, with D'Lo, with Vanderbilt, who I really like. Pat Bev is the heart and soul of that team. And I think Jalen McDaniels has really upped his offensive game. He looks like a more polished offensive player now. I think Minnesota can upset a team in the first round. I think they can beat Utah. I think they can beat Memphis. I think they can beat Dallas. I just wouldn't put them past Phoenix or Golden State.
You think they could beat Denver too?
Yeah, I think they can beat Denver.
Okay. I knew you was going to say that because, you've been high on Minnesota, so I figured it was going to be something coming out of you today, and I got it. You talk about Ja Morant and Cat. They're not. First of all, let me say this. I'm not a Minnesota Timberwolves hater. I'm not a hater.
No one hates on
Timberwolves. As you proceed
here.
to say some hating ass shit.
Timberwolves fans swear I'm hating. I'm not a hater.
That's so crazy that you have to say that these days.
I know.
Yeah,
that's criticism.
Like, I'm not a hater. It's just we're on the show. I got to do what I got to do. So here we go. The Timberwolves, like you said, they're the 7th seed. First of all, they have to get out the play-in, and that's going to be a tough feat. Zion's coming back. Paul George might come back. You still have to worry about LeBron James. He can give you a win on any given night. So first of all, they have to get out the play-in. But if they get out the play-in, which they have a great chance because they only have to win one game, like you said, they're probably going to be a 7th seed. So we're looking at a matchup against the Warriors, maybe, or Memphis. Probably those are the two likely teams. For me, I just look at Memphis, and you said those are your X factors. For me, the X factor is Dillon Brooks. I look at Dillon Brooks as their best perimeter defender, and I look at a guy who has to come. He's been hurt a lot this year, so I look at a guy who has to come in and be that stopper, and he's probably going to be tasked with guarding Anthony Edwards for the series. If he can, in which he has the ability to really stop Anthony Edwards, that's really going to put a crush on Minnesota Timberwolves because Cat, like you said, Cat's going to do what Cat's going to do. Ja Morant's going to be him. It's just going to be I like Memphis' role players better. I like the fact that they can go 10 deep, and I like the acquisitions that they have. Steven Adams, Desmond Bane. I like DeAnthony Melton. I like Kyle Anderson. They're all good defenders, and I like the fact that they play together. I like their coach. Minnesota is a young, exciting team, but I look at D'Lo, and Ja easily wins that matchup for me. I look at Jared Vanderbilt. He's a great defender. I look at Jalen, like you said, McDaniels. He's really good, but it's just like something for me. Memphis is just on a different tear this year for me that I think Ja Morant, like you said, you think Cat and Ja Morant is close. I don't think it's close because I think Ja Morant's leadership, I think the way he carries his team, the way he leads his team in the locker room is something that puts him a little bit over. And, of course, he's a point guard, so it's different. I think his impact in a playoff, he averaged 30 his first playoff series. He outworked Steph Curry in a playing game. I think that puts him over Cat too. So I like him as a playoff performer. And I think like the matchups, Minnesota matches up with other teams, but I think the experience is going to win out on most teams. Like Denver, I like the Joker in that matchup. I think Denver can still win that. And if Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. come back, that's still going to be a tough game for them. You said Dallas. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. I think Luka, the only thing that was stopping him was Kawhi. And even then, he was still putting up historical numbers. I don't think anything can stop him right now. I think he's due for a really elite dynamic playoff series, and he could possibly get out. Utah, they've had their troubles, but Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell, you still can't sleep on them. But I'm not even going to sit here and say that's like a terrible take, because Minnesota is a really good team, and when they are healthy, they're one of the best offenses in the NBA. So
defenses.
Yes, I can't even say
top
that's
10 in both.
I can't even say that's a terrible take. I just right now, like, I wouldn't even say it's a bad take. I just trust Memphis.
Dylan Brooks, okay, I respect that because I know he's an elite defender. But Pat Bev was on JJ Redick's podcast, and he was like, Anthony Edwards could be Michael Jordan. You know what Michael Jordan did in his first playoff
That was
series,
the
right?
dumbest take I've ever heard in my life.
Sorry, you tweet that. I was crying.
Like, that's ridiculous to say that, bro. I knew you were going to say that, too. Like, he said that, and I just looked at, like, come on, bro. Like, no.
He's going to have to take a huge
He's not even weighed yet, and you already jump into
Facts.
like, come on, man.
Facts.
I think Minnesota's a sleeping giant. I really do. I mean, they're 33-21 since like starting 4-9, which is the sixth best record in the NBA since that point. They're third in offense in that stretch. Malik Beasley the other night just set the record for most threes in a game by a Timberwolf, who it was previously held by Anthony Edwards. And people don't notice this if you just watch the game, but like I like listen to the post-game press conferences, especially Anthony Edwards, because he's like I think one of the coolest players in the league. And everybody on that team is genuinely happy for one another and their success. Yep. And I think that chemistry goes a long way. Memphis, I think they have more depth, no doubt. I do think Minnesota has more star power, though.
I could see that because, you know, D'Lo, Edwards. But is it like they have more star power, but is it wrong to assume Desmond Bane can play on the same level as D'Angelo Russell in a playoff series? Like,
it's not wrong.
Like, I don't think it's.
It depends on what D'Lo you're getting because he's inconsistent.
Yeah, is it wrong to say Jaren Jackson Jr. can have more impact on a playoff series than Anthony Edwards? I don't think so.
Defensively, Steven Adams and Jaren Jackson could put Cat through a tough time. I'm not saying they're going to stop him. No way, because you can't stop Karl Anthony Towns.
I'm looking at Jaren Jackson as a guy who can go out there and guard in perimeter and he can guard down low. So that's going to be a tough matchup for Cat. And you have Steven Adams down low. Jared Vanderbilt, as good as he is on the defensive end, he's more of a cutter, and he's not really a floor spacer. So I look at that. Maybe you could put Steven Adams on him, have him help on defense. It's like,
and that's how I'm looking at it. Also, you have two guys that could at least limit Karl Anthony Towns. There's no one on the Timberwolves that could stop John Moran. And that's
somebody in the league.
That's a fact. But that's another reason.
Well, Pat Bev would be on him.
Oh my God!
And that's food.
No, that's literally food, bro. Like in his
Barbecue
and John Morant in the pick and roll is so dangerous. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna put Pat Bev and Cat in really tough situations. They should put Vanderbilt on him. Honestly.
You can't disrespect Pat Bev like that, though.
I wouldn't put Vanderbilt on.
But it's John Morant.
But he made D Book shoot bad in the Western Conference Finals.
Agreed.
You can shoot bad, but it still didn't impact the team to lose.
Oh, they took him to 6.
Yeah, what are you saying?
I mean, they lost ultimately.
They took him to 6 with no Kawhi.
It was a great performance by the Clippers, without a doubt.
Yo, Pierre.
Can't forget that Paul George was
the janky DeAndre Ayton live too, man. The Clippers played well, man.
That could have been a 7-game
Clippers
series.
were awesome.
That was supposed to be the Clippers win. If I'm being Paul George missed free throws.
Campaign gave them a 30 ball in game 1. Come on,
that wasn't supposed to happen.
Damn, man.
That was the Clippers.
I'm mad we reliving this shit. Paul George is my favorite player. I wanted them to win that.
That's
shit
my
so
dude
bad.
too, bro. I know how you feel, bro. That's the
When
Clippers
he missed
lost.
those free throws, bro, it's just like
Bro, he was on a way, bro. That fourth quarter, he hit 2 big shots. He was on his way to an historic moment and then missed the free throws, and I wanted to cry like so bad. Like that was the moment I really wanted to cry.
I remember that happening and wanted to text man.
I'm like, bro.
I know you were hurting.
I was in
He
pain.
was rewriting that narrative. They was shitting on him, and it was just like,
First
oh, that
game-
would have been the cherry on top.
First game, he had 36. He was bugged.
tweaking.
I was in
He was
pain, bro.
tweaking.
Like I was in so much pain, bro.
can't
Like nothing could go right, bro.
So, Pierre, what do you think about Minnesota and potentially upsetting a team like Memphis?
Hey, man, you got a lot of love for Minnesota, bro. That's what I'm not. I like them too. I like them like you do, but man, I don't. You name some teams, bro. Like them potentially upsetting somebody is an argument in itself. But you named off the Jazz, the Nuggets. You said Memphis, and who else did you say?
Dallas.
Utah. Like those are some tough teams. A lot would have to go right. I guaranteed that they would make the playoffs. I didn't care. I think that's the main thing for them. I'm not even looking for nobody for them to upset. They just need to make the playoffs. That's a step in the right direction. But I think you said something that was true, and I think it goes to whoever they play. It depends on what version of the players that they get, because they could have a lot of star power, or they could only have one star. I see some nights with D'Angelo Russell is matching Cat, and they have like a tandem, and then it's Anthony Edwards struggling, or some nights where Anthony Edwards is their guy and Cat is with him, and D'Lo is struggling with 13 points. Very seldomly do I feel like they have this three-headed monster that I think that they could be. I'm not saying it's out of the possibility of it happening in a playoff series, but I think y'all make great arguments for the Grizzlies. I think on some nights, Desmond Bane could outplay D'Angelo Russell or Anthony Edwards. Jaren Jackson statistically might not mess with Cat, but effectively he could impact winning basketball. No doubt. And then Ja Moran becomes your deciding factor. I get what you're saying. Karl Anthony Towns and Ja may be on the same level of player, but the fact that Ja is a point guard and he's shown that he elevates his game in the moments. And what he did to the Jazz when they didn't have Donovan in that game 1 in Utah. And even when Donovan came back, Donovan had to come back earlier than they thought. Yeah. They was going to try to arrest him, but Ja put that pressure on them to have him come out on a bummed ankle just because they was that scared. So I can only imagine what he would do to Karl Anthony Towns pick and roll. Karl Anthony Towns has gotten better, but no matter how good you are, we saw him punish the defensive player of the year. And I don't think Cat is that. So I like the Timberwolves, and I'll be happy for them to make the playoffs. I think that should be their focus. Upsetting anybody.
If you had to pick one, who would you pick in the West?
As much as it's going to hurt me to say this, because I really like this team too, just because I have no other option, the Mavericks. Yeah. But even then, it's like Luka would average 40. I would, I saw what he did to Paul and Kawhi. But the Nuggets, no way in hell. No way in hell. No way. No way. Jokic is just too good. And then the Memphis, maybe Memphis. Maybe. You have to hope Desmond Bane has a terrible playoff series. But I don't know.
I don't want to disrespect the young guys.
I'm just letting you know Dallas is going to have a field day with you. Just the FYI moment here. Their fan base is a little crazy. They're going to have a field day with you.
I've been through it every fan base already. I'm like 5 years into this, man.
Which fan base gives you the most help?
It changes. It used to be the Celtics.
As a Knicks fan, makes sense.
We're Raptor fans. Raptor fans have been
they used to hate me. Yeah,
they love you now.
Yeah.
And who else? I would say that's pretty much. And anytime you say anything about Russell Westbrook.
Let's not, please.
Anytime you say something about Russ, but I think that's about it. And probably I had some Philly as of late, just because I don't.
So
think
your whole division rivals, pretty much.
I was gonna say exactly.
Yeah, true.
Makes sense. Okay.
Have you ever?
But I don't pop shit as a Knicks fan though. I don't do that. Like even when the Knicks was hot, I wasn't talking crazy. I'm a humble Knicks fan.
This is ironic how that went.
I'm happy for the ride. I didn't think the Knicks was going to win the championship, so I didn't talk too much shit because the possibility of what happened to us was always there.
Yeah, I agree. Have you got any backlash from Knicks fans?
Yes. Plenty of Knicks fans. I don't really like Knicks fans. You know what I mean? Knicks fans are kind of dumb, arrogant for no reason.
Yeah, a lot of Knicks thoughts are on delusion to a degree.
And the Cam Reddish shit, when I was like, man, I felt like if Cam Reddish at the start of their careers on draft night would have went to a situation as good as RJ's for personal sake, I think he would be on par player for player as RJ. It's important as a rookie, especially a wing player, to come into the league with opportunity. So Knicks fans ain't like that.
Wow. Good. Yeah, I know. I've been there with the RJ stuff. I said that his player comp for me, I was like, I think he can be like a Harrison Barnes. That's like my projection for him.
For who?
RJ.
I wouldn't go that low. That's
It was when he was averaging like 14 on horrible efficiency in the season.
I don't want you to say that. Like Harrison Barnes, he's better than people give him credit for. Like, I understand
RJ Barrett is better than what people give him credit for.
100%, you're right. But I'm saying in the sense of Harrison Barnes left the Warriors and nobody talks about him because he's on the Kings, and it makes sense. That being said, he has been a lot better than what people give him credit for. He's easy in terms of scoring the basketball. I give you 20 easy.
It's Harrison Barnes though.
No, understand.
No,
Which is why
you're really making an argument for Harrison Barnes.
I'm saying in the sense of why I don't completely shit on his RJ comparison.
I just said that because like I was talking about in terms of career projection, not the type of player they are, but just in terms of like what I can get from RJ. Because early in the season, I was like, okay, what is RJ's role? Like, what is he going to excel at in the NBA? I did not see these flashes of him being an on-ball player. Like, now he's really showing it to where, like, I'm comfortable with the ball in RJ's hands.
Definitely.
But I thought it was going to take him time to find a role in the NBA, and I kind of saw him kind of like a Harrison Barnes where he'll float around some teams. I don't know if he'll ever be like a star, but, you know, now he's playing like it. I mean, I can't even deny it. He's playing amazing.
Yeah, I never thought of Harrison Barnes. I was like on a Toronto DeMar DeRozan type trajectory. I know everybody looks at DeMar DeRozan differently now because of what he's done this year. But the Toronto era of like, this dude is good, he's not great, probably won't build my franchise around him, but if he's the best player on my team, we make him make some playoff, series. He might make a couple All-Star game, and that was that. But Harrison Barnes, nah. And it's not because Harrison Barnes is some terrible player, but I'm not here to. We're not gonna talk up Harrison Barnes. Like, where is Harrison Barnes? Harrison Barnes is a top what player?
100.
Yeah,
I would say top. Would you guys say top?
Yeah,
75?
never in my life was thinking like, oh, will RJ Barrett be a top 100 player? Like, nah, I ain't go that low.
The best name that I think of when I think of RJ and their trajectory is Brandon Ingram. The way that they both have come up is very similar to me, and now we're starting to see.
Whoa.
In what sense is that really wrong? Look at it. You look at it early in their careers. Brandon Ingram and RJ struggled their first season offensively. Next year after that, they took a very similar leap in points per game. Year after that, we really saw Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram. Brandon, yes.
He got LeBron. But then he went to the Pelicans and was good.
Brandon Ingram is a way more polished basketball
Yeah, I think
player.
like it's different when a guy comes in not polished and a guy comes in already polished. Like Brandon Ingram, Jason Tatum, those are guys who came
You're
in
saying
already
that
with the
RJ was
skill.
very his
He didn't have the skill
raw.
yet. Yeah, he didn't have it yet. Those two like guys like that come in
So
with the
kind of-
skill already.
I feel like that's still praise to RJ and the fact that since coming to the league,
No,
he's
yeah, that's
only
why.
continued
That's
to
why it's
work on his
different.
game.
Like he's.
And I don't mean that any slight to RJ. Brandon Ingram's an all-star. He's a great basketball player.
What about Jimmy Butler for RJ?
Yep.
Okay.
I would say Jimmy or Jaylen Brown.
I like that.
Yo, shout out to your Cam Reddish take though, because I've been saying he's gonna be the best player in the league for like the last 3 seasons. He hasn't done it yet, but I'm just waiting on that next superstar leap.
That victory lap's gonna be crazy.
We may never see it, bro, just because I think that's the part of the game that people don't see, man. I think it's a lot of situation. Things are situational, just like the Brandon Ingram shit. It's no coincidence that he left the Lakers and in that first year he was an all-star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think things are situational, and I think especially early in your career to be able to walk into a situation, where you are handed the keys and you're a priority from the start, versus Atlanta where it was already Trey, it was already Collins, then DeAndre Hunter was drafted in front of you. You know what I mean? Then they brought in Bogdanovich, and it just got piled on, and you got this small window of error and margin to really work with. And I think it can hurt you. I've been a basketball player before. You know what I mean? Subconsciously, you start to doubt yourself and doubt what you do. You try not to make mistakes, and when you try not to make mistakes, you end up making more mistakes, and you try to do too much. We're seeing Cam Reddish shoots a lot of terrible shots, and I think that's because when you don't have a bunch of opportunity, once you do, you press. You press to make that impact to show I belong. So I'm with you. I was high on Cam. I'm still high on him. I just don't know if I'm as high on him anymore. We'll see.
It's unfortunate he's out for the season because
Good. They don't even play him.
No, but they were actually starting to play him a little bit.
Inconsistent. Let him go rest, and then next year, hopefully they fire Tibbs, and then we move.
You better hope for that.
I do hope.
You said a lot of stuff about Cam Reddish.
I will forever stand Cam.
Listen,
that's my guy.
Me too, bro.
Yeah,
me too. That's what
my
people don't
guy.
understand. My shit like that don't change because it was never. That's something that, you know what I mean. Where he went, is never going to change. So my opinion won't change.
I wish he came
And
to
people
LA.
always hit me up like, man, what you see what RJ did here? You feel the same? Yeah. He went to the wrong team.